one of the things that I wanted to do was change colors in my automations randomly. And I found that even after doing a lot of research, I'm like, it's pretty darn easy. And so finding that right code and which setting to use in your automation script, it makes a big difference as to how your colors can change. You can change the range of your color changes. You can change how you want your colors to look, if you want to add saturation or not. There's just a lot of things you can do. Now, you can also tell it the amount of time it will transition to that new color, as well as how bright you want that color. You can even use random on your brightness, but we're not going to do that. All I want is for certain lights in my home to change colors randomly, and that's it. So let's try that. Okay, so in my Home Assistant, I'm going to go to, I've already done this already actually, to my outside lights. So I'm going to go to Settings, Automations in Scenes, Automation tab, and let me show you what I've already done because I needed to test it, of course. So, and it works. And well, say it like this: I did it this morning, and I'm waiting for it to work tonight. But I did test it out, and it worked by using the run commands. I'm waiting to see how it will work in actual time. So let's see here. I'm going to go to all night scenes. Excuse me. Now, as you can see here, I have set from 8 o'clock till 6 o'clock in the morning where the outside lights will run every single hour. And down here, I have where the outside lights will change to that certain color right on the dot. And I got the string lights, a floodlight, a door west, and a door east. So let's expand all these. Now, why did I set it up this way? Because at certain times of the night, like at 8 o'clock, I want the laser light to turn on. Now, I have a laser light that points towards a tree. So the tree has these green little dots that dances within the leaves and the branches. Really pretty. It gives an amazing look. Instead, you know how people put the laser lights, the green and red little laser lights, and it flashes on the home? I've never, I'm sure somebody's thought of it, but I decided to point it to a tree one day, and I was like, I'm going to keep that forever. And that comes on every day at 8 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, it activates night lights. Well, the night lights come on at sunset, but this is just an added to make sure that the night lights are on in case there was some type of outage or something of that sort. Now, before I had pre-programmed colors in my scenes, so I had like flamingo type of scene going on, and here is outdoor safari using like brownish colors and reds. And so I disabling them now because instead I am going to run this script, which will randomly change the color of my floodlight, outdoor west, my string lights, and outdoor east. Now notice that this is not under the choose group. And so you can really create a different automation for this if you want to, but every time this time changes, it will run through these first and then use trigger to activate these down here. Now, I'm not going to get into that because that's not the purpose of this particular video. That's a whole different video altogether. Um, I'm going to give you a link to another video in the description where triggers are discovered or are discussed, and that is by another YouTuber. So I'm going to use that instead. Okay, so let's get into this. In the living room, I have ceiling lights, and what I want is for those ceiling lights to change colors throughout the night. And so I figure it'll be so nice that if it just changed randomly. And now I do have a helper. Let me show you a helper. There's a helper called living room lights do not disturb. There it is. And kitchen lights do not disturb. So if this is turned on, what I want is for that automation not to trigger. For instance, if I want to keep the living room lights on at a nice soft white and not change colors, if this is on, it will not trigger. And so that's the whole point. I do not want that thing to change colors at any moment. So living room ceiling, do not disturb. Also have a kitchen, do not disturb. Okay, so I just want to make sure I went through that. And now let's get into it. And so now remember, I've only done this once with 3 lights, or four lights actually. And so I'm still a little rusty, and that's the whole point of this video. This video is going to give you what I've learned as soon as I learned it, but again, I still may be a little bit rusty. Now, there's a tool that I use that comes with my Microsoft 365 subscription where I can copy code and so that I don't have to remember. And these are the numbers that I prefer for my ranges. Okay, now I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to run scripts. All right, so we're going to create a script, and this is going to be living room ceiling random colors. Okay, create living room. Okay, let's do that. All right, living room color, and that is single. And I'm going to call a service lights on. Now, I may do something different here. I'm going to show you what my thinking is. As you can see here, I have 3 lamps in the living room hanging from the ceiling. The one on the left is the kitchen, and the 2 on the right are the living room. The kitchen and the living room are in the same room. So the point is, I want I may want to do something different throughout the night. So let's try this. Living room ceiling, random colors, single lamp. I know that's long, but I need to be able to identify which one is which. And now I'm going to choose entity or device. Living room north, ceiling north, and living room ceiling north. So this is one lamp, but there's one facing east and there's one facing north. All right, I'm going to skip that part, the rest of this, and go on to the next. Living or light on. So you do a search for light and you select light turn on. And then you choose your device. Living room south or ceiling south, north, and living room ceiling south, south. Okay. And then I'm going to choose another call service. Light on, choose device, kitchen, east, kitchen, west. All right. I'm going to do one more. Kitchen splat. Oh, light on, and then device, splash, kitchen splash. Save the script. All right. I'm always the type that likes to save. Every time you do even a small thing, hit that save button right away, right? Okay. So now I'm going to edit the YAML of all of these. Okay. Now look at my code here. Now keep in mind, I'm using the same code, but I'm only going to copy up to device ID. And I'm going to paste just to that point. Actually, what I might do is just do this to target. Okay. And paste, paste. Oh, by the way, I will make this code available below in the description. Okay. Save. So now, if I run this script, I should see the different colors. Let's go check it out. All right, the camera doesn't really do it justice. That's all pink. And this is all blue, all yellow. And up there, my little cat is seeing a pink light, or it's probably like magenta. Okay. That worked out great, right? So now I don't want them to be that bright. So I'm going to set those to 1, 1, and 1 for brightness. This light here, I'll do 10 because it's that splash light on up above. Of course, if you're using a strip light, then of course, you can use, a different set of colors or brightness. It's going to have a different look because then the whole thing will be a solid color. It'll fill in much better. With my little splash, it's only one light. It's going to only project that way. Uh, Now, the reason why I don't have strip lights, I got cats, and guess what cats do? And it may mess up my strip lights. With the actual light up there, they really don't mess with it. I notice, and I don't know why they don't, but they really don't. And it's waterproof. So if I have a cat that's not totally trained, like I bring a new kitten in here, and of course if they're fixed, um, I don't have to worry about, even if they mark their territory, the lamp will still survive. It may not smell pretty, but it will survive. All right, now I'm gonna take a look at this again. It won't show good on camera, but I'm just gonna get up for a moment and I want to see how bright it is. I mean, at night will be the best test, but at least it'll give me an idea of how everything looks. Hold on. All right, so as you can tell, this one turned blue, sort of an off green, kind of an orange light. And my cat up there is also sitting on orange. Okay, that looked really good. Um, that worked out just fine. It's just the right brightness. The splash in the background is good. Now, because I'm going to switch these around a little bit, I don't want to have to remember, of course, what these are. So I'm going to take a notepad and copy some of those. Okay, living room. And you're going to have to just wait for me to copy all this down. Okay, let's see here. Now, I did find this script inside of the in the in the community, in the Home Assistant community. So I want to thank the person. I'll put a link to where I got the information from. I'll put the link in the description as to where I got this from because I want to give credit to where credit is due. Okay, so this is that. And these right here are in the order that you see here. So I'm not worried about not getting the code correct. So I'm just gonna put that here. And this is something that you may want to do. Now, if there's a better way of doing this, please write it down in the comments. Just say, hey, dude, you know you can get the device ID by doing this. I'd be like, really? Yeah, okay. And so, because right now, as you can see, I did compare these to the MQTT numbers, and they were not the same. So I'm like, how do you get the device IDs? I have no idea. So now I'm having to do this instead, especially when I'm working with the same lights on different automations, because I'm creating something that will change. Okay, I'm just trying to not lose my thought here. Let me get this last one. Okay. 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 Let's see. All right. So I got the code there. So I'm going to push this to the other screen and work with it that way. All right. So this is working great. I love this. And make it things a lot easier, I'm going to duplicate that item. But this time, I'm going to call it one-sided, um, one-sided, one-sided. Okay, just simply one-sided. This one, I'm going to change to one underscore sided single. And here's how I'm going to change things around. I'm going to match the second direction. So let's say like north, 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 south. Okay. I'm going to say this is south, 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 north. What I'm going to do is make this one north. Okay. So I'm going to, so that I don't lose my place, I'm going to call this alias north. Now the alias can be whatever you want, but I'm making this so that I can determine which one is which. Okay. The kitchen, this is a different direction, east, west. Okay. So let me say, I will make west the north. So I'm going to take this number and push it up here. Actually, let's scratch that because this will show you which one is which. Okay, north, north. I'm going to put the east down south. Okay, and this is north. So the first one is north. I'm going to put this one up here. So looking at this, north, north, east. north, east. Actually, it should be the other way around. East should be down here. Okay, I get it. Okay, so I'm going to copy this code. Um, Hold on, let me figure something out here. Okay, kitchen west should be right there. Okay, this is kitchen west. All right, let me look at this again. That's north northwest, right? This one, this one is south east. Okay, and the east one is 509. Let me do this so I can see everything. Okay. All right. Now south north, northwest. So I need to take away this north. All right. And this is going to be east, south, east. Perfect. All right. So any lights facing east or south, or any lights facing north or west is all separated here. This one I'm going to delete. Okay, looks good. And this one is still going to remain its own. See, two colors. All right. Now my splash light is on the east side of the home. So why not make the splash light the west? Let's do this. I'm going to copy that and dash. All right. And I'm going to disable this one so that it doesn't move. I can always look at it later. Now I'm going to run this. Okay. Edit YAML, edit YAML, edit YAML. Okay. You know what? I just thought about that. I want the brightness of the splash light. Well, let me just go see how it looks. This is a bad combination because the north side is like an aqua color, and the south is more of a dark green. So it's not really showing, but as you can tell, they're all the same. And then we got this bad boy over here doing this thing as well. I swear, kitties. Okay, so actually, that wasn't too bad. I was not unhappy about this here, but just in case, I'm going to keep this here as disabled in case I change my mind in the future. Okay, let's do another one. All right, so I got two now, right? And now I'm going to duplicate this and call this one individual. Now, the whole point is that every single bulb is going to individually change. I'm going to duplicate this and this and this, and I'm going to reorder. Okay, put this one up here, put this one up here, and put this one down here. Okay, save it before I lose anything and exit. Okay, now the whole point is um, edit YAML, edit YAML. Actually, this might be easier if I edit this whole thing in YAML just like this. Well, probably not, because now I don't know which lamp is which. You know what? It'll work out. So what I'm going to do is take this take this and paste it up here. Take this, excuse me, and paste that right there. Okay, and get rid of these here. All right. All right. And I'm going to take the first one of this. So as you can see, I am removing, because you don't have to have this here if it's only one device. So let's see, I'm going to do this and get rid of this. Okay, almost done here. Take the first one. And just to make sure I did everything correctly, I'm going to switch it back to take the second one this time. And then, okay, and save. All right, and go back to visual. And I should have one. Good grief. Okay. I understand the warning. I mean, it's a good thing to have that warning because then you know why it's not showing to you in the GUID. All right, that's fine because I can see northeast, north, north, south, north, south, south, ceiling east, ceiling west, and cabinet. Perfect. All right, and this looks good. I'm going to run it real quick. Okay, so this one took on a bright red on the right side and a blue, a pink and a purple, kind of a purple color in green, and of course a nice bright pink. I'm going to hit it again. I'm going to set the phone down. Okay. Did it change? Yeah, it did on a few, but this one I don't think changed. Or it is changing. It it's changing. Okay, remember I have a 45-second transition going on. So this finally changed all the way. Yeah, it changed. And you know what? I like that. I like that because with that 45-second transition, it's hardly noticeable that the lights are actually changing. It's like you look up and it's like, okay. And then maybe an hour later you look up again and it's a wholly totally different color. Uh, you know, what I don't know is there any processing time on the server, which is something I may want to look at. So let's take a look here. Oh, there it is. So I got the CPU. Let's do this. Okay. And now I can imagine that it has to calculate that transition for 45 seconds. The CPU is going to skyrocket. So let's test that real quick. It's changing now, I can imagine out there. But the CPU is kind of, it's not really touching it, really. Now keep in mind, I'm using a an actual computer for this. And it's a 3 gigahertz processor, but it's not bad. It's it's not really being affected. I'm kind of surprised. Okay. It's really not affecting it. So I wonder if I did it on a longer for a longer period of time, if I allow our transition to take longer, maybe more like 2 or maybe 3 minutes, or how about 5 minutes? I wonder though if it will still affect other things happening, like while I was trying to calculate and communicate that change to 6 different lights or 7 even, how would it affect other reactions? It may slow down other automations and things that it has to do. So now I think I'm going to keep it at 45 seconds. I think that is good. So now what I'm going to do is close this. All right. I'm going to go back to my automations and go to all night scenes. And throughout the night, I'm going to pick and choose different ones. Is there a way to do random scripts? Okay. So here we go. This is where I'm a little iffy on. It's not called a scene, right? No. Okay. It's run in parallel. Event. Nope, it's definitely not an event. Wait a minute. Random. No. Okay. This part right here. Be honest with you, this is my first time using scripts. And yeah, how do you work with scripts? It's not call service, is it? I guess it is. Because that's not an error. Okay. It's just documentation. All right. Individual and divisible with liberty. Okay. And so script, I'm going to do one-sided. All right. And script. Oops. Oh, goodness. Oh man, I accidentally clicked on something else and now I gotta go. Here we go. You know, I may want to do this. I'm going to, I'm not the best coder, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to do 3 of them. And then over time, I could change these up a little bit. Why not, right? But this is option 3, script and single lamp. Okay, now I'm going to edit the whole darn thing. Okay, and I want to figure out where that particular item is. Script. Okay. All right, so it's right above conditions. All right. Doing this, actually, I'm going to say, just as an added note to this, when you are working on scripts directly, even if you're just copy and pasting stuff like I'm doing right now, you can begin to learn some of this stuff in YAML. And I think it's a good idea for you to just go in there and play around with the script a little bit. And if you mess things up, you can always go back to the GUI to set it up and then go to YAML and mess with it some more. So those are just good good things to know that could help with some of this. Okay. 23 0 1 2. Okay. And then 3 4 5. Okay, and then 6. All right, let me go back up. Okay, and I want to copy the one side one. So it will do, like at 8 o'clock is going to do individual, one-sided, single lamp, and then go back to individual, and then one-sided, boom, boom, here. Okay, 4, 5, and then 6. All right. I'm going to see how that reacts tonight. I'm actually curious now because, yeah, this is going to be quite interesting. All right, let me go back to 8, 9, 10. Single lamp. Okay, one-sided. Here we go. And then 2, 3, 4. All right, and this, that. Okay, so it should be single, or no, one-sided, individual, single. One-sided, individual, single. One-sided, individual, single. One-sided, individual. That's it. Okay. Single, individual, single. Yeah. All right, let me go ahead and save it. And tonight will be the true test. Yay. So I can expand all this, and I can build a tell here too. Individual, single-sided, single lamp, individual, one-sided, single lamp, individual, one-sided, single lamp, individual, one-sided. Perfect. All right. So that works out. So I got that, and that is now done. So I have the outside lights changing color every time. So it is not going to be set because these are going to run first every single hour. Now I decided that I may want to do a 120 on this and a 120 on this. It's going to be such a slow transition that it's going to be quite amazing actually. Okay, now one thing to consider about transitions, it doesn't work for every single lamp. There are, let's say for instance, I noticed that Sylvania bulbs, it doesn't work. This is not, I don't know which one this is. Oh, this is the Sylvania bulb. It does not work for Sylvania bulbs. It does work for singlet and inner. But if this got a command to transition, let's say this is an inner or singlet, and it gets that command, it will slowly transition over. Being that this is a Sylvania bulb, when it gets the command, it's going to ignore transition and switch to that color directly. It will just switch it. And so that's one thing to keep in mind when you're working with certain bulbs. I can imagine Philips Hue, being that it's the most expensive bulb in the market, will probably do it. But yeah, you want to keep that in mind when you're working with stuff like this. All right. That is it for this video. If you like what you see, please like, subscribe, comment below. If you see where, I'm definitely not an expert. So if you see where I can make some improvements, or it's like, I got a better way of doing this, maybe HS color is not the right one to use, maybe something else, then definitely please comment below. But I do want to show you guys one more thing. This is also where I got some information from too. So what is HS color? A list containing two float representing the hue and the saturation of the color. All right, so the hue. The first part is that it does 360. Because I don't have a number here, it will automatically by default start at 0 to 360. All right, and as you can tell, the scale is 0 to 360. Now, if you just put a number here, let's say you only use 200, that means it will only do from 0 to 200. But you are able to even do 100, comma 200, and the hue will only change from 100 to 200. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that there. And then the range. Okay, so the range is 0 to 100. Okay, so basically the saturation is how much color. If you take away the saturation, it's going to be more black and white. Now, keep in mind, we're not touching the white colors on the bulb, like this, like from daylight white to soft white. We're only touching the color elements. So imagine if you had it at 0, it will combine the red, the green, and the blue, but the white one is not on. Now, as you know, when you have all red, green, blue LEDs going at the same time, it's not going to be as bright as if you use just the white element at full daylight white or um, or a cool light or soft light, which is like a redder, browner color. So keep that in mind. And what I'm telling it here is that I only want to use from 80 to 100 on the saturation. I got this code from somebody, and I'm not sure why they said 101, but I'm going to go ahead and change that because what happens if it chooses 100? Will that mess things up? I'm not sure. So I'm going to go ahead and fix that right now. I know I said I was wrapping up the video saying, hey, please like and subscribe, but got a couple more things to do here. All right, so 120, 120, 120, save it, and we'll go back to the script and change it there as well. I might as well edit this in YAML. Okay, 101, change it to 100, just to make sure, because I wonder if that random number was 100, will it may ignore it, or would it change it to just 100 because but the bulb itself may have different ranges. Not every bulb is going to have the same range, especially by different manufacturers. So that's something to consider as well. I know that my inner bulb, it can go really red daylight, like really red white, uh, really far down, and it's really calming. Like when I sit in my living room, uh, my Sylvania bulb can only do like a simple, uh, uh, soft light, which it's just a standard, brown or, reddish light. And then my inner bulbs, it can go even deeper than that, which is just amazing. And it does produce a very interesting color. Singlet can go pretty far down as well. But as you know, if you saw my previous video, I'm replacing all my singlets with inner because it has a built-in radio. Now, the longevity of inner, I have no idea. I hope it lasts long. Um, I'm counting on the fact that it will last a long time because I would hate to replace a bulb every single year like we had to before. Okay, especially since these things are not cheap. All right, so I'm gonna change this even though it's not enabled. And then let's go down here and change this as well. So just to let you guys know that this is a really good reference guide. You could probably use this, really. I'm not sure. Now, I'll be honest, I haven't played with this part. I will share this link about different light elements you can use in your automations so that you may want to use something different. And also, you can play with the ranges too. Maybe, just maybe, you have a party and you do want your saturation to be between 0 and 40 and have a slight change of color throughout the night. You probably want to do more like, I don't know, 30 and let's say 60. And then it's sort of white, but it has a variation of change throughout the night where it kind of changes the mood. That might be something to play with, and something I'd be willing to work on in the future. All right, that's it for now. All right, again, like, subscribe, comment, and let me know if you are if you know more about this than I do. Please do post it in the chat window. I'm also going to be posting this video in the Home Assistant community chat, and then asking for input from our fellow community members about things that I could change that might work better. All right, peace out.
All right, I'm hoping I'm recording audio. I just found something that I had a thought actually, and I was looking all over. And I was like, wait a minute, device ID versus entity ID. So the whole entire thought was this was the code before, and what you had to do in order to get this is to go to the entity itself, and this is how you get the entity or the device ID. So you go into settings, devices and services. And because I'm working on a light that's an MQTT, if I went to devices, you see all your sensors and devices. That'll take too long. I decided just to do a search through MQTT. Then I'm going to be working with this light right here. Now, looking in here, I'm like, oh, there is the device ID. So if I take that and replace it with this, that's too easy. That's how you can easily get the device ID. Now, let's make it even easier. Okay? Ignore this part right here. Okay? I'm putting across that. I'm keeping that here for a reason, but it's not what I want you guys to look at. What I would like you to look at is this. So, in your device, settings, you're in your device, you click on the first item, and it brings up your control, of course. You can control the light any way you want. But I want to click on the gear there and copy the entity ID. In my, uh, I'm going to change that from device to entity ID and then paste the name of the entity right here. And it worked. So in my test automation, this is exactly what I did. I took that same code, which I mentioned that I was going to put it in the description. I'm going to put both of these, the device ID and the entity ID, in the description. This is a lot easier to deal with. Okay. Now, something else that I would like you guys to look at as well is I think I mentioned this in the video previously, and so a list containing two floats representing the hue. The hue is the red, green, blue, and the saturation. Saturation is the amount of white. So I wanted to explain that just a little bit more. So let's bring up paint. I know some of you guys probably already know this, but I wanted to make sure that this is fully understood exactly what that means. Okay, this new paint, I'm not as familiar. Okay, here we go. Okay, solid, solid fill. There we go. I'm going to draw a red dot and a green dot. I'm not an artist, so, and I'm also going to draw a blue dot. And I'm going to draw a, oops, okay. And I'm also going to draw a white dot. But I'm going to, so you can see it, this is white, okay? I put a black border around it. Now, this is not the exact layout of an LED light bulb, okay? But this is just to give you an example. So you got red, green, and blue diodes, and you also got a very bright white diode. And so typical light bulbs, if it's RGBW or RGBWW, WW usually means that it's soft white and a daylight white or blue white. It's that red white or that bluish white that you get. Okay. So red, green. Okay. So here is how some light bulbs work. Some light bulbs have a separate one. So let me go back and let me redraw this square. And I'm going to add a light blue. Um, let's do this. Okay. This is oversaturated. Okay, yeah, there we go. I can probably do that. And that's light blue. There we go. And, oh Lord. Okay, I'm just going to draw another square on top of it. And let's make it where it's like this. Okay, it's only a simulation, guys. Okay, so if it has a red, green, and blue only, and that's all the colors that this light bulb has, you can mix these two. So red and green makes yellow. Red and blue makes like a magenta or purplish type color. Okay, so if you look at this, it will probably, if you look at this, it's kind of like a pink lavender type. You see how that works? So in between red and blue is purple. In between, I'm sorry, between red and blue is a purplish color. If you do green and red, it's sort of like these type of colors. You go from orange, red, orange, go to yellow, and then line to green, green, and then if you mix green with blue, you get like a tealish color. Turquoise, that's turquoise. So you see all the colors of the rainbow here, and you go on and on and on. Now, what happens with these is that The brighter these are, the more it goes down when you mix the colors up to be a little bit more light, like you see here. Now, if you're using white, white is not really white white. It's kind of like um, goes from blue to something like this, and then something like this. But not so. I mean, it's not really blue blue. It's more like right there. If you see this color right here, it depends on the light bulb too. Some light bulbs do have a more bluish tint when you take it to the maximum level of the daylight white. And as you know, the sun actually produces blue light that reflects. Okay, and so you have to remember that even though it may look like it's red, not really. It's really reflecting blue. So that's why your circadian rhythms, when you use white light during the day, it keeps your brain thinking that it's more awake. When you start to get into the darker colors, let's see, maybe like this. That's kind of what a soft light looks like. That's when your brain starts to relax, and you may feel a little bit more sleepy when you're working with light like this. That's why in most offices they like to keep it in this range because it keeps you motivated and working versus working in something like this. That's kind of what soft white looks like. And then, of course, you can take it even more. Some light bulbs let you go even deeper into the red. Now, some of the more expensive light bulbs actually have two different bulbs. A soft white and a white white. And then some has just one bulb that bounces between the two. Um, in my opinion, the soft white and the daylight white, as long as it's bright at night, sometimes I just want a very bright soft white. I may dim it for some certain occasions or dim it when I'm watching a movie. And then this light here is something like during the day when I'm in my office working, I need something to be more like the sun. Okay. And so when these are operating, we got these. Let me turn this on. When you got these here, okay, these are off. So when you switch from color to white, you notice that the lamp, it depends on the bulb too, it will cut these off and then switch over to these LEDs. Okay. Now, if an LED bulb does not have these colors, okay, or this particular light bulb or diode, and only has RGB, then if you mix RGB together it makes white. Sometimes the white is not very white. It sometimes may end up being slightly blue. Some of the cheaper bulbs will utilize only three diodes to try to create white. If you look at certain bulbs, um, I know for a fact that the low hand Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi bulbs, they tend to be not so white. It's very bright, but it's not white. It's kind of you can kind of see the blue and green pop out more because the blue and green are the brightest diodes in that particular light bulb. Um, so you want to make sure that you're working with RGBW or RGBWW. And so when you look at this, you definitely want to pick the best one that will work for what you're trying to work with. Okay. And color mode, so these are the settings. What we're using for my demonstration is this because we're just working with colors. I only want different changes in color. Okay. So I just want to show you that real quick. And so if you did want to mess with these, definitely do that. You definitely want to keep your saturation to somewhere between um, 70 and 100, maybe 80 and 100. Keep in mind, the lesser the number, the more saturated or the less saturation you will have. And then 100 is more saturation. Okay, so let me give you an example of that as well. So give me a second here. I'm going to pull up a picture of my wife and I want to show you what saturation does. And we're just going to use a very simple program to demonstrate this to you guys. Um, and this is when you're dealing with pictures on a screen, you're not, of course, it's not the same. Okay. But I still want to show you because right now, I forgot that I do have video coloring skills because I edit video. And so let's take a picture like this. Okay. In fact, let me see. I'm going to use the simplest program that I got on my computer. Okay, it's definitely not paint. Yeah, paint doesn't do these kind of things. No. Okay, let's close that. And I just realized I don't have any photo editing programs. Good night, nurse. You know what? I'm just going to open it in Microsoft. Oh, I'm using PowerPoint to record. Okay, this is a great demonstration. Okay, I think this does adjust. Okay, so exposure. Imagine exposure is brightness. Let me see. Contrast. Yeah, that's probably it right there. But I don't think that's it either. Highlights. No. Brightness. Saturation. Here we go. Oh, it's it's right there. Okay, so when you turn off saturation, the number is zero, the more white or gray colors you get. And more saturation is, of course, the brightest or the highest level of color. So when you're using 100% of red, it's going to be the brightest and the most red you can imagine. If you start taking away the saturation, the more white it becomes. Okay? And how that works is that this red, if you start adding saturation to compensate for that white, it will start adding these two at the same level, making these brighter and brighter until it turns white. All three of these will be on in order to make this red be flushed out because you're making it white. So when it's 100% saturation, these will be off completely, and it's just red. Okay, so I think that's probably the simplest explanation for that. So you want to keep these at 80 and 100. The reason why you don't want to do 100 because that only gives you 360 different colors. But every time you add an extra layer, that's 360 times 2. And 360 times 2 is 720. The more you add, that's 20, you get 360 times 20, you get 7,200 colors. Now, of course, remember I said you don't want to put too much saturation in it because it will start to look white, and you may not want that. You may just want very vivid colors. So let's do 40 times 360 is 1400 colors. Very typical, right? And of course, you can do 3600 or 36 or 360 times 100. That gives you the 36,000 colors. And so you can keep, let's try 60 real quick. Okay. And let's run it. And that does give you brighter colors. I'm looking at my light right now. It changed to red. In fact, let me see here. This might be a good idea. Okay. So this is my light right here. And so, in fact, can I turn this on? Okay. So if you notice, it's changing colors randomly. I wish there was like a shortcut key for this. Is there? No. Okay. But notice that it doesn't really dip into this area down here. But if I change that to, let's say, 30 and 100, it will start to dip in there. Okay, you know what? Let's make it even harder. Let's do 0 through 40. So now it's dealing with wider colors. And you notice it's not going beyond this circle here. And really and truly, it's kind of hard to tell. Let's say you did want nothing but pastel colors. Maybe you could do away with 20 to 50, and you can then get more of the pastels, like this yellow, bright orange. That's like a not really a teal, or it's kind of a purplish, light purple. But you get those really bright colors, and that might be good for certain situations, because when you work with color that's as saturated as this, it may be too much if you have maybe like people getting coming over and you want to create an atmosphere. You may only want to stick with these colors here. Okay? And I'm looking at my light right now. It is changing colors. It's pretty cool. And so maybe keep it off of 20. Now let's say you did want to do 0 to 20. Let's see how that does. I'm actually curious. Um, okay, you do notice it's very subtle. Very subtle. Okay. And let's say you only want to stick with certain colors. So what I want to do is, oh, here's a good one right here. So you see right there where blue, there we go. And then the more you add, the more of the other lights. This is RGB, right? Oh, you can do, oh, wait a minute. I just discovered something. Look at this. I just noticed this. We couldn't do this before. Hexadecimal. That is perfect. Oh my goodness, I can paint with hex. All right. So I just wanted to show you that. That's basically how the light works. But I want to keep it between 80 and 100 so that my lights are very vivid in color. Okay, and this does work um, with this entity ID. Now, what I like about this, because device ID, I was a little One, it's harder to read. Yes, you can always look up here, but to me, I like it down here as well. So I'm going to replace all of my the ones I just did. Now I recorded the video earlier um, this morning or yesterday morning. It was like about 3 or 4 in the morning, and I'm recording this video a day later. So I'm going to go through here and bring up living room ceiling, northeast. Oh, okay. I'm messing up big time here. Okay, northeast. And I'm actually going to use the name of the entity. Okay, let me open up all these. In fact, no, I need this up here to identify. I would do everything in YAML, but this is the point. Okay, this is why I'm doing this because check this out. If I do edit in YAML, now, even in YAML, I know exactly what this is. Whereas this, I have no idea. And so if I'm working in YAML, I'm like, what is this? You know, but I can immediately see that this is northeast of the living room ceiling. So this, to me, works a lot better. And so, oops, all right. Is there like an expand all? Nope, of course not. Okay, all right. So I'm going to get the code north right here. I had to replace the entity ID. Okay, perfect, right? That's north. This is south. I'm gonna copy this down there. So from now on, I'm going to be using these this setting instead, which for me is a lot easier to work with. Oh my goodness, this is so much better. I mean, oh my, uh, I swear. I was trying to figure out an easier way to do this. Seriously, I just could not work with device IDs. Um, but also, what my thinking is, and I don't know this for a fact, but the device ID could change if you change the bulb. And let's say you have to replace the bulb for whatever reason, you broke it, or it gets old, you have to replace it. Then you have to go through here and change all your device IDs, which is something I didn't want to do. Now, does the device ID go with the bulb, or does it stay the same? I'm not sure about that. I was trying to find information about that, and the documentation doesn't really specify it. And I'm unwilling to change my home to try it. So now, if I look at the big YAML code, this will be a lot easier for me to work with because now I know exactly which device is tied up to which. Now, sure, I could easily put, right? Oh, that's wrong. That right there is wrong. Slash. kitchen. Oh, it's not an MQTT device. Right. It's local to you. Here we go. Now, what? Now, here's why I wanted to do something a little bit easier. Now, I'm still in YAML, and to me, in certain things that you work with, sometimes YAML is a better tool for this. I got this right here now, right? Oh, oh, wait a minute. That's amazing. I just saw something else. Let me get rid of this alias real quick. Okay. Okay. I just pasted twice. Okay. All right. And what I'm going to do is here's something else that's good about this. Look at that. Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, this is making me happy. Because then I don't even have to look it up anymore. I can just start typing. Oh, wait a minute. Perfect, right? Ain't that pretty? And so I'm saving that now. And because if I go back to Visual Editor, I can now see everything that I've done. Oh, that's perfect. Goodness gracious. That is absolutely, absolutely. I mean, that, oh my goodness. I wish I saw that before I came to you guys and started talking. Okay. There was a reason why I disabled this. Oh, okay. All right. So now, what makes it so good, I can just start typing. Okay. So that's lights dot living room. Why is it not coming up? Okay. Okay. Mm. Okay, I think let me try something. Why is it not? Okay. I'm a little bit confused right now. Let me see. Does, oh, it does. Okay. This should work now. Yeah, there it goes. All right, so I'm going to choose south north. Copy that, and I could actually go down here. Okay. Okay. All right. So I got living room north north. Okay. Perfect. Right. All right. And got kitchen west, and I got kitchen splash. There we go. Perfect. And then I can get rid of this one altogether. All right. So I see what I have to do with that. I'm keeping this one here, but what I can do is change this one. It's not letting me edit. It should let you edit still, you know. I'm serious. Okay. I should just okay. There we go. Okay, so let me disable it again. Save it. All right. So I'm going to grab. I want to type anything out. All right, that's one of the things I've noticed about Home Assistant. It doesn't let you copy things easily. I don't know why. All right. Oops. I can't use tab. Okay. So now we got light, kitchen, east. All right. Light, living room, ceiling, south, south. Okay. Light, living room, northeast. So what I'm doing is I'm copying, I'm looking at this because this is these values here, and I'm matching that so I can see that it's the same. Northeast, northeast. There we go. So I'm going to get rid of those. And this, my friend, will be so much better. But I'm also adding two more lights. I'm going to add the TV splash lights. So I got north, west. Okay, so I'm going to put the left side is the west side. So I'm going to put that here. And then put this one here as well. Perfect. All right, that should line up just fine. And then single lamp. Okay, I'm just going to add one. Oh, I got to do all these. Okay. Wait a minute. Did I change all these? Entity, entity, and oh. Okay. And that's disabled, so I'm not worried about that. Okay, now one side. I'm going to add lights on. Okay. And this one is entity ID. Oh, I need to see it first. Okay. Okay. Yep, I can come through here and just start adding to easy. Let's do this. Kitchen, uh, light, kitchen, splash. I wish I had two up there. Okay. Perfect. That's perfect. And then this one, I'm just going to copy and paste this down here. And we're going to do okay. There we go. All right. So this is TV, night, living room, TV, let. I'm just going to copy this. Perfect. All right. So now I just got to fix these up here. Light, living room, ceiling, northeast, light, living room, north. Okay, and I can go ahead and get rid of this over here. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to copy this and make it just a little bit easier. There we go. South. Perfect. And then light, kitchen, east, west. Perfect. Okay. And so in the future, let me save it. In the future, if I ever need to edit in YAML, I can see, oh, wait a minute. Okay, YAML, good for this kind of stuff here. I got to get rid of the device IDs. Perfect. I could do this though, right? To make them all the same, so it's uniform. Because it doesn't give me any errors. So this is actually quite better by having the same look for all of those. And I'm going to do that for every one of them. Now this one, yeah. Oh, this one's disabled. And how does it know it's enabled false? Oh, it adds this. See that right there? It's enabled false because I have it disabled. Okay. All right, good, very good. Oh, let me do something better. To keep it the same, I do like that. To be like that. I think that feels better. Okay, individual. I'm not going to do that. I want to keep this one as is because they are individuals. Perfect. All right. So that is now taken care of. I am so happy that I found that technique. So again, I will be adding this code right here to the description below, and so that you can see what needs to be done. Now, formatting is a beautiful thing, right? This doesn't show you proper formatting in OneNote. The space is there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Okay. Yeah, there's only 2 spaces there. So it keeps the spaces, but it doesn't look formatted. It looks like it's all over the place. There are plugins for OneNote that can help you with adding code to OneNote, but to me, it's just a guide because instead of me having to go to another automation, I can just copy this and then just go right to it and just make adjustments to whatever I need. I should change this to 100. Okay, there we go. All right, perfect. All right, so that's it for this particular video. I'm going to say it again: like, subscribe, comment. Please keep me, you know, if you have any questions about anything, I'm going to be posting some of these items, these links, in the description below so that you can have it. And I'm very happy that I will be creating one more of these, but I think I took enough time on this video to do anything else. So you guys have a great one. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out.